Alright everyone, for a couple of years now I've joked about how Jimmy Carter is incapable of dying until the guinea worms die. He's waged war on this particular parasitic insect now since the 1980s. He's been at the forefront of efforts of fundraising and educational awareness campaigns in tropical regions in the world with regards to guinea worms. Last year, there were only 14 cases in humans reported of guinea worm infection. They've been eradicated in dozens of countries. There are only 6 countries left that are considered to be habitats for this creature. What it does is you get into infected waters, so there's guinea worms in it. They burrow into your skin, creating a lesion, a blister. Then they create larvae. The only way to stop it from hurting is to immerse your feet in water. Now, in the old days, so we're talking a century ago, people would they would go to a river or the pond or whatever, and they would, put their feet in there. Now, the worm releases its larva, and then it comes out. And so it'll give you relief. It stops, basically causing you immense amounts of pain when it's immersed in water, its natural habitat. And then, of course, the larvae, they go into the water, making more guinea worms, and then they replicate. There's more of them. There are still animal infections. But Jimmy Carter, in the end, again, I've joked about this, but apparently it wasn't a joke. It was actually prescient. According to reports, there have been no human infections now for 3 months anywhere in the world. It looks like they've semi-eradicated the species entirely. Yes, Jimmy Carter, who was fairly war-reluctant, actually, and wasn't a good president, although some of the things that happened during his administration really were out of his hands, and he gets a bad rap for his response to the economic crisis and various diplomatic crises. But he's a likable person. Post-presidency, what has he done? He's built homes for people, for the helpless, and probably he spearheaded the eradication of the second human disease after smallpox. He appears at 99 years old, and he's in hospice, so he is dying. He appears to have finally gotten his vengeance against the guinea worm. It appears that I was actually correct. He survived long enough to see a period of time commensurate with, if not the extinction of the species, at least the extinction of the species in human beings. A 3-month period, 0 infections, that's not happened before. Now they're waiting for 12 months to elapse to say, well, the guinea worm, we've basically driven it to extinction for the most part. They need to keep up their efforts, though. There probably will be more sporadic human cases, and there are still animal cases also. Guinea worms will infect any mammal that happens to wade into those waters. What they've done, though, is they've cut off its main vector. So what they do is that if a person is infected with guinea worms, so they've burrowed into the skin, they're like screaming in pain, they immerse their feet in water, in a bucket. And so the larvae get, released there. They're not in a body of water, so you can just dump them out into the dirt and they're going to die because they're not in an actual body of water at all. And then apparently they take like a little piece of wood or plastic or something. They wrap the edge of the worm around it and slowly extract it over the course of days, which must be fucking excruciating. By the way, disclaimer, do not look up pictures of guinea worms or the injuries that they cause. That looks fucking terrifying, actually. I can only imagine how much that must fucking goddamn hurt. And they hand out filtering straws so that people in these areas that still do have guinea worms are not drinking infected water and drinking guinea worms, I guess, or something like that. It's kind of important when your only source of water is muddy and filled with disease. Having a survival straw is probably a good idea. I've got one myself, although it's probably no longer... Well, I don't know if they have an expiration date. I think they use charcoal filtration, so it's probably not a problem. But Jimmy Carter, in the end, you have accomplished something great, my friend. I want the last guinea worm that's still found alive. They cart it into him in a little bottle, and then he just snips its head off. That would be, and then he can die in his sleep probably within 24 hours. He's 99 years old. His presidency is not looked on fondly by most people that were alive at the time. His post-presidency is Habitats for Humanity, probably eradicating the second human infectious disease of all time, and things like that. Like, when he dies, I'll actually be a little bit sad, because his post-presidency has been pretty good, actually. You know, you look at post-presidencies. Reagan post-presidency, what does he do? He was getting demented, and sort of just, he made a few speeches and stuff like that, and, you know, would endorse candidates and stuff, and then there was that one time that he went parachuting, actually, and Nancy Reagan's, like, running to catch him, by the way. That's one of the funniest clips ever. But he was mainly, he stayed there and cleaned the pool. Herbert Walker, he wandered off. He didn't do much of anything post-presidency. Clinton post-presidency has continued to do the schmoozy thing and probably raped several other people. That's not great. The Obamas, well, they'd be a close second behind Carter, actually. The Obamas, for the most part, have stayed out of politics. I actually respect them for it. It's very strange. George W., post-presidency, nobody really wanted him to endorse them because, you know, he was gone in disgrace and after a failed presidency and the collapse of the economy and stuff. Trump post-presidency, of course, is running again. Biden will wait and see. I have a feeling that he'll croak within a few years anyway. And I have a feeling it'll be within 4 years, which means that you would have ended up with President Kamala had he run again anyway. Now she's running as well. Trump, he'll remain big in the news. Yeah, he's not going anywhere. But Jimmy Carter, of all of the post-presidents of the modern era, because Johnson, he went off to his ranch and grew a beard and was all sad and shit like that after his failed attempt in Vietnam and Nixon resigned. Of all the modern presidents, so we're talking post-atomic era, I think that Jimmy Carter has actually had the best post-presidency of all of them so far. He's done a lot of work for people. He walks the walk. He's not a NIMBYist, in other words. A lot of liberals that say, well, we need to help the poor. We need to help the African villagers with the guinea worms. Well, he actually did the effort. He did the fundraising. He did speeches. He fucking literally built homes until, God, a couple of years ago. He was fucking 95 years old and he's still doing fucking carpentry. This dude can't fucking die. I am strongly convinced at this point it's no longer necessarily even a joke that until the guinea worm is declared eradicated, he ain't going nowhere. In fact, he may outlive Joe Biden, which would be very, very interesting. So, salute to Jimmy Carter, my man. You've accomplished something really, really great because, if you are, you know, interested in looking at pictures of the wounds that are caused by guinea worms, holy goddamn shit, I think I'd rather have fucking anthrax. That's about all. Peace out.